I walked into this boutique gym after like walking around the environment. It was just such a happy place. Like everybody looked like they were having a good time. And I love the concept of the workout. I had never seen it before, so I was in. Raphael is a veteran. No, like really, he's a veteran. So everything is on military time. And when I first started at Circuit Works, he was so intense. Like, there were no games. And looking back in retrospect, I think it was because his attitude was, I cannot fail. Like, this has to work. That's how passionate he was about what it was he was building. And I worked with Raphael, and I woke up late because of course it was 5:30 in the morning and I was not used to waking up that early. So it's like, it's 5:30 a.m. I'm running towards the Circuit Works and Raphael is standing outside like this. And I'm like, oh, okay. Hey man, sorry. Had a huge Hollywood audition thing, you know. And he doesn't want to hear that. He's like, get in the class. And you know, it just went downhill from there. You know? Yeah. That was the beginning.
Next weekend, and hopefully she's still alive, you know. And I'm taking Bella.
Yeah.
And no, she's in the hospital again, and it's you know, it's just not good right now. You know, it's just such a weird thing, man. When you losing one parent is hard, and then when you lose two, it's like all of a sudden it's like, and I mean, I'm a grown ass man, so it's not like,
of course,
it's not like, you know, that financially it's a safety net, but it's like a weird, like, emotional safety net is all of a sudden like stripped from you. Like, I'm alone.
How did your dad die?
He had you know, it was a very weird sort of sudden thing. He was like packed. He was going on vacation to New York with his brother, my uncle, and he was living in Miami at the time, and he didn't show up to pick them up to go to the airport. So they all went over there, and he died in his sleep with his bags at the door packed.
Oh my God! Of what?
He had like just a congestive heart failure out of the fucking blue.
Wow.
Non-expected. No one expected it. It was just out of the blue. I mean, my dad was thin. He was like, you know.
Yeah.
He wasn't out of shape at all. Like my mother's out of shape, you know.
Yeah.
He was like thin.
How old were you?
This was like 7 years ago. I don't know, dude. This is tough, man. It's tough. Again, it's like that emotional safety net is like being taken away from me.
Yeah, I know.
Almost like makes you feel like a kid again. It's just.
Right. Well, your parents are gone. I mean, that's pain.
Yeah. It's tough. It's fucking tough.
Well, there it goes. The only sure thing in life is death.
I grew up, the early part of my childhood was in Pasadena, in Altadena actually. And it was a little colorful background. My mother, you know, was very, she had some mental issues. So, she was borderline schizophrenic, and she was clinically depressed, which we all found out later. We didn't know at the time. I just, thought that, it would just depend on, the day that I would wake up and wonder if, I was gonna have the loving, nice mom, and some days I would wake up and wonder if I was gonna get my ass kicked. So it was, my dad left us when I was, I must have been like 5 or 6 years old or something like that. When that ended, it was, my childhood sort of took a turn because it was just her, and God bless her, she did the best she could, dealing with so many mental issues. And one of the issues she had, she was a hoarder. So I remember growing up in a situation where, nowadays it would be considered child abuse, based upon the conditions that we were raised in. So this is day one of going to assess the condition of my mother's house, and what we all have to do, what all has to be done, I should say, to get her house and her situation back on track. So the trash service just pulled up. I ordered a trash bin to come and haul at least as much as we can into this bin, hauling away. The entire house was just a mess. There was stuff everywhere. You couldn't, I remember, as a child, not knowing what the floor looked like because there was so much stuff everywhere. I remember, in the room, my bedroom, which I shared with my sister for a while, I couldn't see the floor. And then, I remember trying to, I would straighten it up and finally saw the floor. And so for me, it was like I wanted to do the opposite. So the cleanest room in the house was my room for sure. And I organized everything. I held on to nothing. I sort of resented the fact that my mother kept everything. I would wake up like I knew what day the trash man came, for example. And I would, wake up in the middle of the night to sort of, pull stuff out there so the trash man can come and get it. And sometimes she would catch me and just be pissed, and she'd see all this stuff. It was junk, it's just stuff, but for her it was valuable.
I had just walked in. I was relieving Taylor, I believe, to go take her lunch, and Raphael had just got done taking class. And we all knew, we've all kind of been talking about a little bit that his mom hasn't been doing well, and that she has been really sick. And so I was working at the front by myself. And he went outside, and we were talking. It was actually a really good day. I remember we were clicking, and he was talking about, I think he was gonna do some meeting, and he went outside to take a phone call, and then walked in, and I just basically saw him in the front room just kind of going like that, and I could just see it out of the corner of my eye, and I just remember being like, Raphael? And yeah, it was really sad, he just fell to the floor. And it's really sad because every time I tell this story, it just brings me right back to the fact that it was in a moment where somebody just literally lost their mom, and I just knew that that's what happened. And he just fell to the floor, and so I just put my arms around him, and there was class going on in the background, and I remember he was just crying really hard, and it was really sad because you're basically just holding somebody who had just lost their mom. It was just a really raw moment.
When you're a child, I knew my mom had it rough. And when you're a kid, you always have these sort of notions and your imagination and your dreams to be able to, one day buy a house for your mom, buy a car for your mom, give her a better life through your success. Me working hard and, trying to, create, what I created and being successful, which is, is really short of a miracle where I am today based upon where I came from. And the main sort of driving force was, being able to do, these things for, my mom, being able to, be able to, give her a better quality of life. And, giving her, being happy and successful. And so it's just a surreal feeling. I just lost her, a week ago. And it's been very difficult because I wanted to do so much for her, and she suffered, she suffered, most of her life. And, everything that, that's been the driving force has been, to sort of stop her suffering and take care of her. I'm sitting there and I'm, trying to talk to her, and she was able to talk. She remembered me. I was like, hi, mommy. It's, Raphael. And she would say, Raphael. I'm like, yeah, mommy. And we talked, and I would try to bring up the past and get her to remember things, and, she remembered things. And then, it got quiet for a little bit, and all of a sudden she says, out of the blue, she just says, I have to start writing. I'm like, what do you mean, Mommy? What do you want to write? You want me to get you a pen, some paper? What do you mean? So I have to, I want to start. So what do you want to write? She says, I'm running out of time. I have to start writing. I'm like, what do you mean, Mommy? What do you need to write? And she said, I have to write my life story. And I remember being a kid. I remember being a kid, and my mother's always wanted to write her life story. And it just hit me like a wave of emotion that she never got to do that. And I just wanted to say to her, Mommy, it's too late. It's just too late. And even in that state, my mother taught me a very valuable lesson that day. How many percentage of people end up, 90% of the people, humanity, we end up in that same place, wishing we had done something, or not having enough time to do what we've always wanted to do. And, in our heads, we are going to do it. One day we're going to get that done. One day. But a lot of us wait for the perfect time to get stuff done. Like, people get married, and when's the perfect time to have kids? When is the perfect time to start a business? When is the perfect time to do that? In that moment, I learned a very valuable lesson. There's never a perfect time. The stars will never align perfectly for you. The perfect time to do it is when you get up the next day and just do it. And my mother taught me that day.
I don't think before Raphael wanted a relationship with people. He just kind of wanted to make Circuit Works happen. Make the vision of all of this happen. franchise, you know. But now he still wants that, but that's not his first priority. His first priority is helping people, and that's the difference.